Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we have the EXP ASSIST teams for you guys to take on the 10-star Kizuna Clash against Monkey D Garb. So just like I did, I'm paralleling these videos with the big damage and single focused one team versus all video. Today, well, in this video, we are utilizing our XP farming teams. So the teams are going to be led by Marco, and then I have a one team versus all for you guys. If you guys want to just sort of get some XP, but also get some tickets if you didn't summon and you want to bring Marco as a friend captain. So I have a Jack team for you there. That's a one team versus all. If you enjoy the video, belt the like button. Go check out the other video if you're looking for some higher damage teams. And as I mentioned in that video, I am going to do another video where we do some super boss stuff and we do some high damage teams for assists later down the line. But like I said, today we're focusing on XP, and we are going to start over here on the Dex variation of the 10-star event. Fighter, Free Spirit, Cerebrals get their cooldowns. This is very good because Marco gets cooldowns across the board. So very, very nice. But if you guys have used Marco teams before, you guys will know that Marco really doesn't need the cooldowns to be efficient in 10-star Kizuna. Fighter, Free Spirit, Cerebral get cooldowns. Battle 2, there is Resilience. 2 turns of damage reduction. And on the final stage, there's 98 turns of immunity. Bomb slots. 8 turns of bind on your middle row, which will go down to 5. 5 turns of threshold. And then after level 30, the bind becomes 6. The threshold becomes 6. And there is 5 turns of despair. Now, this particular one was probably the hardest to build for and was a little bit finicky, but you do have some options. So obviously we have Double Marco as our captains. He is the best XP captain in the game. With the white bid support, we can remove 3 turns of despair after level 30. And then with the help of Law, the treasure map rare recruit, or not treasure map rare recruit, the treasure map free-to-play character Law, we can actually get around the other 2. With Law, we can bring Beppo, Sachi, and Penguin. That's going to remove 2 turns of damage reduction. And then to get around the threshold, we have Shanks. The Kizuna Rare Recruit Shanks, not Kizuna Rare Recruit, the Kizuna free-to-play character, Shanks, from Film Red Celebration, with the support of Yasop, will remove 2 more turns of bind, because you do actually need 6 turns of bind. So very, very annoying with that particular one. We also have the support of Ace on the Sabo, the World Journey Sabo. He can remove the Resilience on stage 2, but you do have some other options. You can bring the Rare Recruiter Kainu for the burn. Hell, you can use Ace as a support on Marco, and then you could bring Ace over on Luffy, the Luffy crew. And then you don't really need Vivi. Vivi's just there for, funsies. But Vivi also removes 2 turns of thresholds. And that means you can just, replace Shanks if you're missing something like Yasop. So, a lot of different options with this particular build. A lot of different variations. But I did find that this was probably the best one for my box and for having a box that is, very, very high up. We have the final tap of Straw Hat Crew as well. We have some chain shenanigans with Shanks. Ideally, the way this team operates is you actually want to pop Marco on turn 1, and then you use the orb buff to carry the chain boost into the final stage. Then you're just going to use the Straw Hat Crew special on the final stage. You get your attacks, you get your orbs, you get your color affinity, and then you also get rainbow orbs, so you don't have to worry about the block orbs. Then you can use Shanks before that as well, because Shanks' chain boundary doesn't actually count as a positive buff. So you can use the chain boundary of Shanks and then use the Straw Hat Crew, so that way you actually get all those extra buffs. Should work quite nicely, but obviously we will test them once the Kizuna goes live. On to strength now. We're moving from right to left this time. Dex, Quick, and Psy get their cooldowns. There's 5 turns of defense up and 2 turns of attack down on stage 2. The boss has 98 turns of full immunity. You get unfavorable slots. You're binded on your left-hand column for 5 turns, or 8 turns, 5 after sockets. 8 turns of despair, once again, 5 after sockets. And then after level 31, use an extra turn of bind, as well as 5 turns of resilience. So, super annoying that they just keep adding 1 turn of these friggin' debuffs. It does make it a little bit challenging when you are team building. So, the next Marco team, Double Marco once again. We do have Straw Hat Crew. Straw Hat Crew is here once again, as well as the Carrot support to remove 2 turns of defense up, which is always nice and handy. We have the support of Ace on Marco, because the idea here is we want to pop Marco on turn 2, and that's actually going to give us the extra defense up removal. Plus, we can actually utilize the special of Oars to remove the attack down and 4 turns of defense up. Whether you have Carrot, whether you have what's his name, whether you have Ace, either of these will work. And if you do have one or the other, you can easily just put Vivi once again on your Straw Hat Crew. So that should work pretty hunky-dory. There shouldn't be any hassles there. I think there wasn't any hassles. That was the reason I had them all there, right? Yeah, sweet. But if you don't have Ace and you have Carrot, like, you can do some fun, funky shenanigans with that. Like I said, Orsus is literally just there to cover stage 2, the attack down, the defense up. The help of the Ace support will definitely help you out there too. And you have to use a Marco special on this turn anyway, so that way you can get the carryover effect of the chain boost. You can also use the auto trigger on all of these teams to get the auto trigger of Marco. But like, everyone gets cooldowns, so like, you don't really need that cooldown. It's more about just having the ability to gain an extra attack boost, gain an extra chain boost. What you can actually do with all these teams is pop Marco on turn 1, and then you get the carryover, so you have the chain boost on stage 2 as well. Definitely an option for you guys. And then you can pop the super class on turn 2, so you get the auto trigger for some of these teams. But once again, we have Straw Hat Crew on this team. We're just using them for their final tap here. Law is our orb booster and our chain boundary unit, and then Oven can actually remove like Bind, Despair. He also removed for 6 turns. And he also gives you a color affinity boost for your quick characters, quick fighter and powerhouse characters. So that's super nice there. Great that he's a color affinity booster. Great that he removes all those debuffs. And you're basically covered from here on out. With the final tap of Straw Hat Crew, you can actually get around the resilience as well. Works pretty nicely. And this team shouldn't have any issues at all, really. Onto the final variation that we're going to talk about today, the Int variation. 10-star gets Fighter, Free Spirit, and Striker cooldowns. 8 turns of Despair, which will go down to 5 after Sockets. 2 Special Binds. And then on the final stage, 98 turns of full immunity. Slot change to randomly type. Psi Orbs get turned into a 1.0 times multiplier for 10 turns. So Int versus Psi. Obviously, Psi Orbs aren't going to be beneficial. They're just going to be neutral. Damage reduction over a certain amount. So threshold for 5 turns and 5 turns of defense up. After level 30, you are going to cop an extra turn of Threshold. And you get 2 turns of Hunger. Lucky for us, our boy Marco has Hunger, so make sure you max out your Marco's Hunger. Even if you just bring a friend Marco, just like level 1 should cover you. So double Marco is the way. Marco's going to be our attack booster. He's going to be our chain booster. Once again, if you use him turn 1, you can auto trigger. Do all that fun stuff. What you do have to be careful of when it comes to auto triggering is the bind. So just be mindful, you'll actually get binded on your left-hand column and your middle row. So if you are going to be using specials on turn 2, across any of these fights, make sure to use your friend captain rather than your own. But to get around the threshold, we have Bon Clay. He's our color affinity booster. Now that I'm looking at it, we don't actually need him as a color affinity booster because we have the new Skull and whatever his name is, Mogul, I think his name is, to remove the defense up on stage 2. To get around the Despair, we have the supports of Rayleigh and Whitebeard. Super nice there. Kuzan's going to be our orb booster. Super, super fun. And then we have the Straw Hat Crew as our final tap unit once again. Just looking at this, if you can find another threshold remover, you can definitely replace Bon Clay. You could use the Kazuna free-to-play Shanks. However, remember, you do need 5 fighters if you do want that superclass of Marco. So very important you have that. For this team, Kuzan is that non-fighter unit because we want to use the Garb support. Kuzan's our orb booster, which is great at level limit break 5, but utilizing that Garb support is how we get around the special bind. So all of the teams should do fairly well. Like I said, I will test them all out once I sort of get towards the back end of Kazuna. So make sure to check out those videos too. But like I said, I do have a 1-team versus all for you guys to take down everything that's going on here. And it's actually led by Jack. So not a Marco team. Jack just seems to be a little bit easier to build for, especially because you can actually partner Jack up with Markino, because Markino is a striker booster, and then Jack is a rainbow booster. So as long as you build a free spirit striker-centric team, you are going to be in good stead. So, utilizing Jack with a friend Markino, he's going to give you the most amount of points that you can get, and give you some nice chunky XP. If you are doing stuff like assists, and you didn't summon, like this team might help you out. But Law, he's our orb booster, he's our chain boundary unit. Corazon there removes 2 turns of bind and paralysis. Then we have Ace on the Kazuna Rare Recruit Luffy. This Kazuna Rare Recruit Luffy can actually remove 6 turns of threshold, which is super nice. Plus, he's also our attack booster for this particular team. Very important that we actually have that. Plus, he can use Ace, so it's 3 turns of bind, another 2 turns of bind with Corazon. And then with Uta, we can actually get around the final 2 turns of bind. Now, Uta has double special activation, which makes her very, very nice for this team. Mainly because with Uta, we can get what's it called? With Uta, you get the chain boost, and you can get around stage 2 of the strength variation. So Uta is basically just going to just destroy that part there, set the defense to 0, remove the attack down, and then you can use her again. Just make sure she's in the bottom right. And with the support of Robin, she can actually help out by removing a lot of the despair on Battle 2 as well. So very important that you have that. We have Garb to get around Special Bind here. Garb's going to be a chain sort of boundary or chain lock depending on how you have him, but he's also going to give you the end of turn damage, which is going to help out drastically for taking out the resilience on stage 2 of the Dex variation. So that's why Garb's here. You could pretty much just bring someone that does end of turn damage. Like, that could definitely work too. But I just wanted to bring someone that that removes Special Bind as well. So as long as you have that option to remove Special Bind and then do end of turn damage, like a Cerebral unit that has like some sort of support, you could definitely do that. Unfortunately, like, Law isn't giving us the chain boundary, but he's giving us an orb buff. And the reason I brought Law is because Law is actually going to rotate all of our orbs into favorable if they are unfavorable. And for Markano, she removes type slots and she turns them into recovery. So when we use the Markano special, we are going to have a full water recovery orbs, and she's our color affinity booster for the final stage too. Jack really doesn't do too much here, unfortunately. I was trying to find a way to make him work. But he's a chain locker, so like you could definitely pop his special on the final stage for more damage. But he just kind of really doesn't do too much. Chainlock will eventually like get power crept, but this team isn't meant to last forever. It's meant to just be a little bit faster for you guys in the early stages while you are doing your assists, because this is a super boss and a lot of people will be going sweaty. And in the early stages, it's very, very important to build up your star buff with your alliance members. So get together, make sure you're diving in, make sure to suicide strat, so that way you can actually activate the level 3 buffs with all of your alliance crew. But that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. If you are new to the channel or you haven't done so already, hit that big red subscribe button. Most importantly, though, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.